it's actually raining. I'm kind of still on my same roll that I've been on the last few. I keep trying to get off my couch, unless you really love that yellow velvet couch, which I do. But anyway, but the rain makes the green so beautiful. This is my grape arbor behind me. And how's everybody doing? This is a very busy but active but sweet new moon, I think. It's leading into the solstice, so there's like a lot of action here. But the Gemini energy, some of you might not go for it, but it brings in a lot of delights and a lot of surprises, and it's nice at this time of year to get that energy. And so with this new moon, I'll talk about the solstice in a minute, but with the new moon, it is square Neptune. So this is the deal with the new moon, always brings in something new. The new moon is actually this initiation point, it's a threshold. And you probably have been feeling like in the last week or so that some things are really coming to the surface, maybe in an annoying way, maybe in a relief, that it's no longer that tried and true saying, it is no longer serving you. So you've probably been having that feeling, but it also has like a rush of new alternatives there for you as well. So, so with this, we have Neptune square this moon. We have a few things going on. We have Neptune square the moon, and Juno is conjunct. So Juno is an asteroid. I'll talk about that. Well, we'll start with that. Juno is about partnership. And so there is partnership, there is love on the horizon, and that going into the solstice, there is like your most transparent, radiant self, hopefully, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. So there is that, but the thing with the Neptune square is that things are not what they seem. You have to really be tuning into your inner voice. So, if like a hot thing is percolating to the surface, that is very exciting. Juno is involved, partnership is involved, but everything is a message for you with that Neptune there for a deeper spiritual process. So it may or may not be the thing to go for, but there is definitely messages there for what you should. I always that Saturn creeps in, but there are messages there for what is afoot. And as I've been saying for a while, it's not that this is this intense time of karma burning that we've been in for a while now. We're all walking side by side. It's not that fall in love, gaze into each other's eyes kind of love anyway. Should you have the opportunity to fall in love, you're actually looking for a partner, a warrior that will, a warrior in all senses of the word, that will walk alongside you, that will support your path. Even me, I have, like, my human design chart is all about love, and yet it's such a solitary chart. It's just not the time right now. We're so needed to build, but we're building through love. Love is important. There's love in solitariness. There's love in partnership. There's love in family, there's love in service, there's all different kinds of love, and those kinds of love are that's part of the Gemini, are kind of melding and mixing. We're not putting the priority on the romantic love, particularly not with this moon. So yes, there is romance in the air, and yes, don't totally fall for it, don't lose track. You're probably in the midst of something very important, is what I'm thinking, whether it's subtle and internal or whether it's external with the solstice energy. So to talk about solstice a little bit, it is a new moon, so close to summer solstice, but summer solstice in the Northern Hemisphere. Summer solstice is really full moon energy, because if you look at the year, if you look at the cycle of the year, the new moon of the year is the winter solstice, when we're in the darkest time. And so when you get to the summer solstice, it's like, that whole first half of the lunar cycle is about building, it's about intuition, it's about listening to all the messages, and eventually at a certain point, which was in March, at the equinox, we start taking risks. We start building. We start like trying things out, experimenting. And so this point for us, the solstice, is like, it's like you really see what works. You really see, and a lot of times we don't know. Even in the yearly cycle, you think you know what you're planning, you think you know what you're doing, but you may actually have a subplot going on in your life that you've been like fighting to recognize, or somehow trying to will it onto the track that you want, but that subplot is really the plot. I mean, that's what we're dealing with here. So I think this new moon with the Neptune, if you can make some time for yourself and like get in the water, Cancer's coming. The first day of Cancer is that solstice. If you can get in the water, if you can really make time, even if you're socializing, because the summer energy, the solstice energy, that full transparency, that illumination, that full moon energy is a social time. So how can you find introversion in social settings? It's a good question to ask yourself. We're all different. You all have different charts, like what that looks like. So I wanted to say this. So we have this initiating kind of deep contemplative time, and we also have this full on party mode going on simultaneously. So, with that, we also have actually on the moon, although the moon is in Gemini on Sunday, by the time it gets to the solstice, which is only a few days away, the moon is actually in Leo. In addition, we have Venus in Leo, we have Mars in Leo, and Black Moon Lilith. So it's super strong femme energy. And by that femme energy, it's like all genders, wherever you are on the gender spectrum, that applies to you. And what I mean by femme energy is like receiving, reflecting back, like you are like a mirror for other people. You're receiving a lot of energy, you're transmuting it, you're creating emotional matrices. But we got the Mars in there. So your voice is wide open, especially Cancer is an emotional sign, but they're all in Leo, but we are in Cancer. The sun is in Cancer. So Cancer is an emotional sign, but Cancer is a cardinal sign. Cancer is a builder, an initiator who likes to ask for what they need when they can get past all their stuff. Everybody knows a Cancer. But with this Leo energy is really about self-expression. So all this Leo vibe, even though it's in the kind of like femme toolbox, that Mars really relates more to that fiery energy. So you are feeling everything, but you're also expressing what you need. You're expressing how things are affecting you. And with this solstice, you're very brave. And with the new moon energy, it might be really deep. It might be legions deep. It might be stuff that you have never expressed. So it's a complicated time. Luckily, that full moon vibe of the solstice is quite powerful. So you should be pretty resilient, even if you feel emotional or triggered by stuff. There is something kind of pulling you along. My notes are all wet, so it's all running together. The thing about the solstice also is the solstice times, winter and summer solstice. So wherever you are in the world, the solstice times, the galactic energy is very thin. And what that means, not to sound like completely woo, but it means like you actually have an ability. This is what, I have my subscription called the aliveness. And so when I talk about the aliveness, I talk about the stuff, the plasma, the live energy in that makes everything happen, all this beauty happen, all of us beauty happen. And so the galactic energy space is filled with the aliveness also. And so it's very permeable at the times of the solstices. And since the summer solstice is very active, it's like you actually can kind of reach through the veil and, in a very subtle way, like a forceful way, you'll just probably shoot through the veil and it will disappear, or disappear to your consciousness. But you're in a very subtle way, you're kind of sculpting and molding and calling it into you. So with that Neptune, again, to go back to that Neptune square, the new moon, there is a lot of information available to you if you're not rushing, if you're listening. And don't doubt yourself if something comes through that's just, again, it's just this time of year where you're like, but I was working on that. Like, really pay attention to what's happened between the equinox, the end of March and now. What has really happened? Because the thing about that equinox point is from spring equinox to fall equinox, that is in the realm around summer solstice. That's the realm of the human. From fall equinox through spring equinox, when we go through that darkness, that's the realm. That's kind of the realm of the divine or the beloved. So when we're in that realm, we're being worked on. We're like in this like deeply somatic kind of yoga nidra space. But where we are now, we're like, we're informed, we're activated. Breath is your friend. Any kind of breath work that you can do, water, big water, a little creek, ocean, that's your friend. The elementals are so awake at summer solstice. So, breathe it in, make room, be where your feet are, open your eyes, don't rush. And, yes, be in love. Don't tell your beloveds what to do. Don't let them tell you what to do. Don't look to meet other people's expectations. Don't have expectations. And have fun. Yeah. Okay, bye.